Imagine pulling up to a traffic stop and hearing the cop say, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" Only for the driver to blurt out, "Officer, I was speeding because my hemorrhoids flare up when I drive too slow." Yeah, that actually happened. Or at least something just as ridiculously dumb. We've scoured the wildest viral TikToks, Reddit threads, and real cop stories from across America to bring you the 49 absolute dumbest, jaw-droppingly stupid excuses drivers have ever tried on law enforcement. From haunted cars that accelerate on their own to chasing escaped parrots down the interstate, these are so outrageously bad they'll make you laugh, cringe, and wonder how some people even have a license. Stick around because number 41 had the officer speechless for a full 10 seconds. Which one do you think is the dumbest? Drop it in the comments, smash that like button if you've ever come up with a lame excuse yourself, and hit subscribe so you never miss the next roundup of pure American chaos on the road. Let's dive in. 1. A frustrated dad in a minivan packed with kid toys and snacks got pulled over doing 90 in a 65 zone on a crowded highway. The officer asked why he was speeding. The dad pointed calmly at his old speedometer. He explained the needle only goes up to 85. Pedal was floored the whole way. No chance the van could go faster than the gauge showed. Needle stayed buried. Cop leaned in to look at the dashboard. His eyebrows rose high in confusion. He stared at the dad, trying to process the logic. Kids in the back giggled, watching the scene. Officer shook his head and wrote the ticket slowly. 2. A young woman fresh from the salon got pulled over flying through a residential street at double the speed limit. Her new haircut had sharp lines and perfect bounce. She kept windows up to protect it from wind. Traffic frustrated her quickly. Soon she sped home desperately. Police caught her doing 80 in a 40. She rolled down the window, revealing flawless curls. The officer asked about the rush. She smiled brightly, explaining the cut was brand new. One gust could ruin hours of work before showing friends. Cop fought back laughter. He glanced at the amazing style, then wrote the ticket carefully. 3. An older gentleman in a classic Buick got pulled over after hitting 90 on a quiet rural highway. The officer noticed him shifting uncomfortably in the seat. The man looked up straight-faced and explained his hemorrhoids flare up badly when driving slow. Higher speeds reduce pressure and keep him comfortable down there. Personal experience proved the method over years. The cop froze hearing the personal detail. His eyes widened in shock. A small smirk escaped despite trying to stay professional. The driver nodded like sharing real medical advice. Officer handed the ticket, mumbling, "Have a nice day," and walked away, shaking his head in disbelief. 4. A young married couple got pulled over racing home in a loaded SUV at dangerous speeds through traffic. Lights finally caught them after miles. The husband lowered the window looking urgent. He blurted out they were speeding because his wife was fertile right now. The app confirmed peak ovulation timing. They needed to get home fast before the window closed. The wife turned bright red, hiding her face, groaning loudly. Officer stood speechless, with mouth slightly open. Awkward silence filled the air thickly. He cleared his throat several times, then asked for documents while hiding a growing grin behind sunglasses. 5. A teenage girl in her mom's hatchback got pulled over after swerving wildly across lanes in panic. A big bee flew inside, buzzing near her face. The officer approached, seeing her breathe heavily. She explained frantically the bee triggered total freakout, making her swat everywhere while flooring the gas pedal. Windows dropped, hoping wind would blow it out. Cop checked the interior carefully, finding nothing. He chuckled softly, understanding the terror completely. Her scared, wide-eyed expression slowly turned to embarrassed relief once she calmed down and realized the bee had escaped safely outside the car. 6. A middle-aged man cruising down massive I-95 got pulled over when radar locked him steady at exactly 95 miles per hour the whole stretch. Giant route signs flashed the number overhead everywhere. He pointed excitedly at the huge I-95 markers, explaining he genuinely believed the highway number meant that was the official speed limit. Years of driving never corrected the mistake. The officer rubbed his temple patiently, explaining interstate numbering rules nationwide. The man's eyes widened with sudden realization and embarrassment. He thanked the cop sincerely for the unexpected lesson, while quietly accepting the printed ticket. 7. A stressed soccer mom in an older station wagon full of kid gear and toys got pulled over, accelerating wildly through a quiet neighborhood street. The officer approached cautiously, noting her serious expression. She insisted wide-eyed that her car is truly haunted by restless ghosts. Invisible spirits sometimes grab the wheel, forcing sudden speed bursts for thrills. The cop flashed his light inside, seeing only scattered snacks and wrappers. Her completely convinced look never wavered. He held back laughter, suggesting a good mechanic over an exorcist. She drove away slowly, checking the rearview mirror nervously every few seconds. 8. A proud young guy in a lifted truck with brand new aggressive tires got pulled over, pushing dangerous triple-digit speeds on the open freeway. He grinned wide, explaining he was simply testing if the tires handle extreme highway velocities like the commercials always claim. Real-world proof felt necessary for full confidence. The cop examined the deep tread patterns, closely shaking his head in disbelief. The driver's pure excitement stayed strong and undimmed even as the expensive ticket slowly printed out in the officer's hand. 9. A flirty woman driving a sleek red convertible along a sunny coastal road got pulled over after radar caught excessive speed easily. She smiled confidently, admitting the GPS navigation voice sounded unusually sexy that day. Sultry tones motivated her to speed up just to hear more directions faster. The cop checked her phone settings, confirming the standard default voice. His professional composure cracked into a small, involuntary smile. She winked playfully, saying some days technology just speaks directly to the soul. He returned to his cruiser, still chuckling quietly. 10. A laid-back uncle type in a rusty old pickup got pulled over after causing highway chaos, chasing something bright and colorful for miles. Police finally boxed him in safely. He pointed proudly to his escaped pet parrot, now perched calmly on the dashboard, squawking. The bird flew out an open window earlier, triggering immediate pursuit. Bright feathers proved the wild story true. The officer watched amazed as the parrot mimicked police sirens perfectly. Both men burst into laughter despite the situation, while the ticket processed slowly. 11. A stressed-out dad in a family sedan got pulled over just blocks from home after spilling hot coffee all over his lap in rush hour chaos. The scalding liquid soaked his pants, creating instant pain and mess. He floored it, desperate to change before stains set forever. Police lights flashed behind him suddenly. He pointed frantically at the huge brown crotch stains spreading fast. The officer leaned in, saw the disaster, and stepped back with clear understanding. A quick, sympathetic nod showed pity. He still wrote the ticket, but wished the dad better luck with cleanup and no more spills. 12. A middle-aged woman after eating sketchy tacos got pulled over, looking pale, sweaty, and gripping the wheel tightly. Severe diarrhea struck suddenly halfway home. Every bump felt like imminent explosion. She raced toward a bathroom at dangerous speeds. The officer approached, seeing her distress clearly. She explained urgently, disaster was seconds away down there. The cop's eyes widened, mixing horror and concern. He processed paperwork super fast, suggesting safe pullover soon. She clenched everything, praying for double mercy from nature and law while waiting anxiously. 13. A young guy wearing dark sunglasses got pulled over, accelerating hard through blinding morning sun on the freeway. Low speeds kept intense glare burning his eyes painfully. Higher velocity shortened direct exposure time dramatically. Radar caught the sudden burst perfectly. The officer saw him squinting badly even behind shades. He removed glasses, revealing red, watery eyes from the ordeal. The honest, short explanation earned an understanding soft chuckle from the cop before standard professional ticketing resumed calmly. 14. An older lady in a tiny smart car got pulled over when radar showed speeds impossible for such a small, cute vehicle. The officer double-checked readings in total disbelief. She insisted calmly her smart car simply cannot physically go that fast ever. Some equipment malfunction must explain everything completely. Tiny engine and compact size proved innocence clearly. The cop circled the miniature car, noting limitations. Her sweet grandmotherly smile stayed confident throughout as undeniable proof printed slowly. 15. A big bearded guy in a massive pickup got pulled over greedily eating fried chicken while weaving through busy lanes. Grease dripped everywhere and delicious smells overwhelmed completely. Crispy distraction made his foot heavy unconsciously. Police noticed erratic driving long before high speed registered. He held up the half-eaten bucket, proudly declaring the chicken too incredible to ignore safely. Juicy pieces demanded full focus. The officer smelled strong evidence instantly upon approach. Disappointed headshake mixed with hidden laughter before full professionalism returned. 16. A confident off-duty pilot in a rental car got pulled over, treating the highway like a runway approach. High speeds felt completely normal after years commanding jets at takeoff velocities. Ground driving should match cockpit comfort levels perfectly. The officer examined the pilot wings badge closely, then compared it to radar numbers silently. His raised eyebrow questioned the wild translation silently. The pilot shrugged casually, explaining air rules allow far more thrill than ground laws ever do. Ticket accepted with professional grace. 17. A terrified young woman in a small coupe got pulled over screaming when a huge hairy spider dropped from the sun visor straight onto her shoulder mid-drive. 8 legs triggered instant overwhelming panic. Foot slammed accelerator hard while swerving frantically, brushing it away. Police witnessed chaotic dance from afar before stopping her. She pointed shakily at dash where spider vanished into vents. Officers searched thoroughly with flashlight, finding nothing but believed every word from her pale, shaken face completely. 18. A cocky college student with backwards cap got pulled over grinning, wide believing popular urban legend about police tolerance. He explained confidently the famous 10% rule allows exactly that much over limits without real consequences, supposedly. Everyone online swears daily practice works. He stayed precise, 10 above everywhere religiously. Officer explained patiently how myth differs from actual enforceable law. Student's overconfident expression deflated quickly, realizing internet wisdom failed him badly today. 19. A heartbroken middle-aged man in worn-out truck got pulled over, slowing dramatically when blue lights appeared behind. Deep old scars surfaced instantly. He told officer sadly ex-wife left years ago specifically for another cop. Uniform triggered brief, irrational hope she finally returned home. Fantasy explained careful compliance fully. Cop listened sympathetically, recognizing real lingering emotional pain in voice. Gentle, firm reality check followed before standard paperwork began slowly. 20. A frustrated working mom got pulled over losing cell signal deep in winding valley roads during critical family calls. Updates kept dropping mid-sentence repeatedly. She accelerated aggressively, climbing higher ground faster for bars to return sooner. Elevation promised quick connection restoration. Desperate speed built steadily with mounting annoyance. Radar appreciated determined effort greatly. She held phone skyward dramatically, showing 0 bars remaining. Officer pointed toward distant visible tower, offering genuine better luck next attempt kindly. 21. A hard-working pizza delivery driver in a beat-up sedan got pulled over with a large hot pizza box sliding on the passenger seat during aggressive traffic maneuvers. Delicious smells filled the car, tempting him constantly. Cold pizza equals tiny tip in angry customer reviews. He sped desperately, keeping it piping hot for maximum satisfaction. Police radar nailed him easily. He pointed urgently at the box, explaining hot delivery timing was everything for his income. Officer inhaled garlic deeply, showing hunger. Reluctant sympathy nod came before a ticket anyway. Driver promised future free slice deal. 22. A heavily pregnant woman in a spacious minivan got pulled over, racing toward the store after sudden overwhelming pickle cravings hit hard. Nothing else could satisfy her or the baby kicking wildly. Closing time loomed threateningly close. Police lights flashed, stopping progress cold. She rubbed her huge belly, smiling sheepishly, explaining pregnancy demanded pickles immediately right now. The cop glanced at the bump, softening instantly with understanding. He wished safe craving fulfillment while gently issuing the standard citation quickly. 23. A dedicated car enthusiast in a heavily modified loud coupe got pulled over revving aggressively even while fully stopped. Custom tuning made the engine crave high speeds always. He explained proudly his car genuinely likes cruising minimum 80 mph after upgrades. Anything slower feels completely unnatural mechanically. Factory settings bored him long ago. Officer admired custom rims, briefly showing secret gearhead appreciation. Professional duty returned fast, overriding admiration completely. 24. A headbanging teen in an old Civic got pulled over blasting heavy metal anthems, windows down full blast. Intense guitar riffs and drums synced perfectly with his heavy accelerating foot unconsciously. Speed matched every aggressive beat, rising naturally. Radar loved the rhythm instantly. He lowered volume, explaining rage music made slowing impossible, blaming the band entirely. Cop recognized classic tracks, nodding along involuntarily. Extra loud music warning joined regular speeding ticket firmly. 25. An animated family man in a practical SUV got pulled over aggressively, making up massive lost time from earlier chaotic highway blockage. He claimed dramatically an escaped circus elephant stood blocking every single lane for hours solidly. Recovery demanded serious speed compensation now. Officer quickly checked news apps, finding zero elephant escape reports anywhere. Skeptical stare met enthusiastic, convincing, wide-eyed storytelling delivered masterfully without pause. 26. A quirky older gentleman on a large riding lawnmower got pulled over cruising slowly but illegally down a main suburban road. Police stopped the unusual vehicle without chase. He shrugged casually, explaining he had another identical mower parked safely at home. Impounding this one meant zero real inconvenience whatsoever. Plenty of backup grass-cutting power waited ready. Officer explained road use laws thoroughly while calling tow truck calmly. Gentleman nodded politely, accepting modern rules applied even to slow machines. 27. A tough construction worker in a dusty full-size truck got pulled over, shifting uncomfortably throughout the entire stop. Familiar pain flared up strongly again. He mentioned quietly, hemorrhoids only bother him badly when sitting completely still too long. Steady motion always provides soothing, natural relief. Cop recognized possible repeat offender, hiding small, knowing smile behind dark sunglasses professionally. Ticket issued with standard procedure unchanged. 28. A well-meaning citizen in a sensible hatchback got pulled over, accelerating deliberately toward a known speed trap location ahead. Good Samaritan intentions drove higher velocity completely. He explained earnestly, speeding specifically to warn oncoming drivers about hidden radar waiting. Advanced flashing headlights would save others tickets and points. Officer appreciated rich irony silently while preparing his own fresh citation carefully. 29. A stunning bride in full white wedding dress got pulled over sitting nervously in the back seat of a heavily decorated sedan, rushing through downtown traffic. Driver pushed limits hard, avoiding delays. Police halted wedding procession dramatically. Driver pointed backward, urgently explaining bride running late for her own ceremony starting soon. Everyone should honk, supportive understanding, timing crisis. Officer peeked inside, seeing veil bouquet tears and panic. He waved them forward quickly, granting verbal escort mercy. 30. A loving dog dad in an open-top Jeep got pulled over, chasing his escaped excited pup along busy highway shoulders. Long leash dangled comically from driver window, trailing. Police intervened safely after extended pursuit miles long. He showed empty collar, explaining beloved dog bolted suddenly, requiring immediate rescue mission. Loyal protection justified every risky mile completely. Officer assisted quick search, locating happy pup nearby, wagging tail furiously. Ticket issued, but both smiled at reunion. 31. A cocky teenage boy in a beat-up old sedan got pulled over, flooring it straight through a flashing school zone at double the limit. Kids were everywhere crossing streets. He explained seriously school zone signs always reminded him of video game racing levels. Slow speeds felt totally boring and pointless. The officer pointed firmly at nearby playgrounds full of children. Teens' confident smirk faded fast, realizing real roads offered no extra lives or easy restarts like games do. 32. A smug lawyer in an expensive luxury sedan got pulled over, flashing his business card immediately like a shield. High speed seemed beneath concern. He declared confidently he was a lawyer, so this ticket clearly won't hold up in court anyway. Legal expertise guaranteed dismissal, supposedly. Officer examined card calmly, then radar printout. Professional face stayed neutral throughout. Lawyer kept explaining defense strategy loudly. Cop handed citation explaining everyone gets equal day in court regardless of job title. 33. A disturbed driver in a rattling old van got pulled over, weaving dangerously late at night. He explained intensely, voices in his head commanded full throttle constantly, or they would scream even louder. Higher speed quieted them temporarily for peace. Risk felt worth brief silence. Officer listened carefully, showing real concern. Backup requested quietly for safety. Driver accepted ticket, begging quick processing to escape growing internal noise sooner. 34. A scared motorist in a compact car got pulled over, trying desperately to outrun an aggressive tailgater behind flashing lights constantly. Close pressure forced defensive panic acceleration higher. Escape seemed only safe option available. Police caught fleeing attempt easily. He pointed backward, explaining tailgater caused reactive speeding entirely. Officer nodded, understanding common road rage problems, while still issuing standard citation fairly without exception. 35. An elderly man with confused watch got pulled over, rushing dramatically across entire town limits. Alarm stayed wrong by hours, throwing schedule off badly. He sincerely believed he was late arriving for his very own funeral service. Urgency justified extreme hurry completely. Police stopped chaotic drive safely. He explained time mix-up politely. Officer gently corrected watch setting while suppressing obvious laughter kindly. 36. A proud off-duty airline pilot in a plain sedan got pulled over, treating the interstate like a long runway. High speeds felt completely ordinary after decades flying commercial jets at massive velocities. Ground driving should mirror cockpit norms perfectly. Officer examined pilot license curiously, then radar numbers. Raised eyebrow silently questioned direct translation. Pilot smiled, explaining sky rules permit way more adrenaline than Earth laws ever allow. Ticket taken with professional nod. 37. A hungry driver with fast food bags got pulled over as hot meals cooled rapidly in slow traffic. Fries and burgers losing perfect temperature fast. Customers complained loudly about cold food ruining tips. He sped desperately, preserving heat for happiness. Police smelled fries instantly upon approach. He held up warm bags, explaining delivery freshness crucial for ratings. Officer showed clear hunger understanding, but issued ticket professionally anyway. 38. A proud indigenous man in traditional clothing got pulled over, claiming ancestral rules superseded modern traffic laws on native lands. Speed limits felt optional culturally. Historical sovereignty justified higher velocity freely. Officer explained current universal road regulations apply equally everywhere patiently. Driver listened respectfully, accepting today's legal reality while maintaining cultural pride quietly. 39. A progressive young driver got pulled over, arguing non-binary identity made rigid speed limits feel oppressively binary. Fixed numbers seemed structurally exclusive and limiting. Fluid personal expression required variable velocity matching truth. Officer processed concepts, slowly blinking twice. Professional neutral face held firm, while citation printed methodically without comment. 40. A gamer teen in a souped-up hatchback got pulled over, pretending real highways were open video game circuits. High-score hunting demanded maximum speed, constant boosts everywhere. Virtual racing rules applied fully on roads. Police ended session abruptly. He explained leaderboard pressure and combo multipliers seriously. Officer suggested safer arcade simulators for points instead of public streets. 41. A nervous family man was stopped late at night on an empty American highway. Smoke drifted from his car and drew instant attention. He claimed a fire extinguisher exploded inside the trunk without warning. Panic took over, and he believed speeding away was the safest option. The officer stared at the perfectly calm vehicle and felt deeply unimpressed. The driver explained his heart was racing and his hands were shaking. He insisted any reasonable father would flee imaginary danger. The officer opened the trunk and found nothing disturbed. The family excuse collapsed instantly. Embarrassment replaced confidence, and silence filled the roadside moment. 42. A young adult man was pulled over near a busy suburban shopping area. He appeared confident until the officer asked about the speed. The driver explained his head was so far up his own butt that awareness became impossible. He described complete mental absence from reality. The officer paused and blinked slowly in disbelief. The driver continued by saying reflection was happening too deeply to notice gauges. Traffic noise surrounded the awkward confession. The officer felt secondhand embarrassment growing stronger. Nearby cars passed as the excuse sank in. The explanation did nothing to help his case. The citation was written calmly while dignity quietly left the scene. 43. A tired middle-aged office worker was stopped just before sunrise near an industrial zone. The officer noticed slurred speech and restless movement. The driver explained he was not escaping trouble, but racing toward responsibility. He claimed the goal was to sleep off being drunk before a work shift began. He believed arriving unconscious was better than arriving intoxicated. The logic sounded confident inside his own head. The officer felt disbelief mixed with concern. The man insisted exhaustion would solve everything naturally. Reality disagreed strongly. The roadside became quiet as the explanation settled badly. Consequences arrived faster than sleep ever could. 44. An older woman driving alone through a downtown area was pulled over after entering traffic the wrong way. She appeared calm and strangely proud. She explained the sign pointing the other direction felt confusing and aggressive. She believed it was suggesting an alternative route. The street looked narrow and unfriendly, which reinforced her theory. The officer listened patiently while cars waited behind them. She insisted shortcuts were often misunderstood by officials. The officer imagined training manuals crying somewhere. Her confidence never faded even as reality closed in. The ticket was issued gently. She drove away, still convinced the city failed her first. 45. A teenage boy in an old sedan was stopped near a fast food strip late at night. The smell raised suspicion immediately. He lifted a greasy bucket with confidence and smiled proudly. He explained the scent was fried chicken, not alcohol. He shook the bucket to prove dedication to dinner. The officer looked unimpressed and tired. Grease stains decorated the passenger seat like evidence. The teen believed protein explained everything, including weaving. His friends watched silently from the sidewalk. The officer waited for logic to appear. It never did. The bucket excuse joined history as another deeply committed lie. 46. A father driving a packed minivan was pulled over on a long interstate stretch. Children stared wide-eyed from every window. He explained the speed was intentional family bonding. He believed the sensation of flying brought joy and memories. The kids nodded enthusiastically without understanding consequences. The officer glanced at car seats and felt concern. The father described laughter and freedom inside the vehicle. Wind noise drowned out common sense. The explanation felt rehearsed yet desperate. Safety lectures followed patiently. The children lost interest quickly. The minivan dream of flight ended with a warning and quiet disappointment from everyone involved. 47. A stressed single mother was stopped near a school parking lot in the afternoon. She apologized repeatedly before explaining the delay. She claimed aliens abducted her clock and returned it incorrectly. Time no longer obeyed rules according to her story. The officer raised an eyebrow slowly. She described flashing lights and lost minutes with absolute seriousness. Panic filled her voice as guilt followed. Children waited somewhere she imagined. The officer felt sympathy, fighting disbelief. Reality did not support intergalactic interference. The excuse floated awkwardly between humor and concern. Paperwork followed gently. The universe did not appear as a valid witness that day. 48. A muscular young man with loudspeakers was pulled over on a city bridge. Music shook nearby windows aggressively. He blamed the speeding entirely on rage music. The beat demanded rebellion, according to him. He claimed resistance was impossible once the chorus dropped. Veins popped as he explained artistic influence. The officer waited for the song to end. Silence felt louder than sound. The driver insisted musicians should share legal responsibility. The officer disagreed firmly. Traffic resumed its rhythm behind them. The ticket arrived without emotion. The band was never notified. The bridge returned to peace immediately after the excuse ended. 49. An excited uncle driving a sports car was stopped under bright streetlights. He smiled confidently and raised his hand dramatically. He attempted a Jedi wave with full commitment. He believed charm could rewrite reality briefly. He explained speed limits were suggestions, not facts. The officer watched patiently and did not laugh. The gesture ended with awkward silence. Confidence slowly drained from the driver's face. He doubled down with hopeful eye contact. The officer responded with professionalism and calm authority. Fiction met paperwork instantly. The force was clearly not with him. The stop ended with embarrassment and a story nobody believed later. As the lights fade and the excuses finally run out, one thing becomes painfully clear. Drivers will say absolutely anything when caught. From wild imagination to confident nonsense, logic completely disappears the moment red and blue lights appear. Every excuse heard tonight proves one simple truth. Honesty never even makes it to the starting line. If these unbelievable moments shocked you, then the road ahead gets even crazier. Hit like to support the madness. Subscribe to stay strapped in for more unbelievable human logic failures. And comment below the dumbest excuse you have ever heard or secretly used.